What's on, mini fans? Welcome back, and let's continue where we left off. Now this bit was quite fiddly. I'm making two sort of robotic arms which will hold the fuel, like the fuel container, above its crate. Now the materials I use here are stirring sticks, just wooden stirring sticks, cocktail sticks, little bits of straw and speaker cable, and then I have these four little cogs, and these look like they could go in the cable ties at either side of the fuel container. So basically I've put in some barbecue skewer which fits nicely in those two cogs, and I've got them a few mil apart and then just glued that in. And then it's all you can just watch the video, but I basically make two sides to each part of the arm with the stirring sticks, and I drill through and put cocktail sticks as kind of supports and just glue these in with super glue. And then the straw and speaker cable makes a join, which initially does actually work, and the arms move around, but I glue them into a static position later. One tip with drilling through the stirring sticks: I'm using a pin vise, but if you actually drill through with the pin vise, the stirring sticks often break. They split apart. But if you drill slowly, just by twisting the drill in, they go fine. And then I clean up these joins with a sanding stick. Alright, off camera, I've actually glued these robotic arms onto the main structure, and then I've also glued on the rollers at the bottom, but I've extended these out from the main structure by about 3 centimeter with just a couple of I-beams I made. And then I glue the container onto the rollers, and then the canister on top of that container. And then the cog arms, I move like the cog bits into place and onto the fuel canister, and then glue those with super glue. I'm using some of those kids' toy tubes to be like the fuel line going to that fuel container from the main structure. So I've got a couple of sections, just straight and a bend, and I've sanded these and got rid of the mold lines. And then what I do is glue in some cardboard, rolled up cardboard, in either end to give a bigger surface to glue on. And then I want to add a bit more detail, so I've cut a 1 centimeter strip of card. This will wrap around the end of the pipe, and I've put rivets on that about 1 centimeter apart. And then I've got a 2 centimeter square of card again with a circle in the middle, and then I add rivets to each of the corners, and then glue this all together, and then glue this onto the structure and to that fuel canister. it's time to start adding a bit more detail to various parts. So what I've done here is add 2 sections of straw underneath the robotic arms, and I've just glued these on with super glue. And then I have some old cable, like double cable, just from an old adapter or something, and I basically glue in sections to each of the sort of joins on the arms, and again just glue this all with super glue. Now I want some way to link these arms to the top of the tower where I'm gonna make a little computer later. So I've got this. It's just a round bit of plastic with a lip. It was some old coat hook or something. Anyway, I've got that, and then I've got this little circle of plastic with some nice detail on it. I think this was from a soap dispenser, but I can't remember. Anyway, I've sanded the big circle of plastic, glue on the little one, glue on some rivets, and then this gets glued to the structure. So I miss a bit of footage here, but basically what I do is glue some more cable from the bottom of this thing we've just made, sort of coiled down to the ends of the arms, the robotic arms, and then I've used a bit of bendy straw to go from the top of this bit to the very top walkway. Molly, someone's joining in with the fun on my cutting mat. Yes. I'm going to make some very simple railings for the very top walkway. And all I've done is cut 3 sections of chipboard. They're 2.5 centimeters high, 5mm wide. And I've slightly scored two lines across, all of them, and then used a pen to sort of make an indent. And I've just glued some wire across, just anchoring it in those little indents we've made. And then I glue this to the top walkway. I'm going to skip through this bit quite quickly, but I do a little bit of basic sculpting again. I've actually made a base with chipboard just super glued together, a little sort of square, or a little cube. I'm trying to make a computer, so I've just mixed up some modelling putty, and I've coated that square we've made, the chipboard square, and sort of pressed it down so it's all smooth. And then I make a kind of screen just by getting a blob and squishing it down with a very smooth object, and I'm using Vaseline so nothing can stick. And then I make a little keyboard by again squashing a bit down and then later just indenting it with sort of buttons using a sculpting tool. And I just let this all dry, sand it down a bit, and yeah, there we go, glue it all together. Then I glue this onto a little straw offcut and a bit more of that cable we've been using. And then this gets glued onto the top walkway. Onto painting. It's my standard paint job, so I've Mod Podged it and primed it, and then base coated with burnt umber. Give the whole thing a once over dry brush with silver. And then I paint the main sort of fuel cylinder a light blue, and I do several coats of this. And then I do the panels orange, which takes a lot of coats. And then the fuel container, same as my last project, I paint this as sort of reddish brown, so I've just mixed red with burnt umber. Then I do hazard stripes on the fuel container, the container, the crate. Now I've changed my tactics slightly with this. I still mask it off and then sponge on white. Then I sponge on a kind of flesh tone because my yellow is normally a bit too cold. I want it a bit warmer. So yeah, I sponged on flesh tone and then I sponge on yellow. I've then made a stencil, and again I've just printed out this time D1 in a sort of that kind of font. Just printed this out on normal paper and then put clear sticky tape both sides of that, just covering it. Cut it out with scissors, or cut around it with scissors, and then cut out those letters using a craft knife. Use a sharp craft knife. This was my sharpest blade, but it still didn't work that well. I've actually got a sharpening stone which I do use, but yeah, this was quite tough to do. But anyway, I've cut out that D1, and then I masking tape this onto the side of the blue canister and sponge on white. After this, after everything's dry, give the whole thing a once over with the homemade black wash. Again, that's just black acrylic paint, load of water and bit of dish soap. I dab some of this off the blue container, the red fuel container and the orange panels. Wait for all that ink to wash to dry, and then I do my rust effect. So I sponge on burnt umber, wait for that to dry, sponge on orange, and then I do a series of different stains all over the piece using black ink, and I also use some brown ink. And there we go, job's done. I hope you enjoyed the project. Here's some photos of the final piece. And if you like what I've done, feel free to leave some comments and I'll get back to you. But for now, see you in the next project. Cheers for now.